Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. Today is Fabulous Friday. It is April 30th. My name is Keely. I am here today as your host. Our quote of the day today is, once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. If you haven't already marked your calendar for our leaders retreat, we are going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico this year. That will be August 20th through the 24th, 2021. The only requirements for Leaders Retreat are that you are at least 1-star qualified. So if you're 1-star, 3-star, or 5-star, you are more than welcome to join us at Leaders Retreat. If you're not 1-star yet, you've got plenty of time to make that happen. So I cheer you on to get some sales and get that 1-star qualification so that we can see you in Leaders Retreat in Cabo. Every Monday at 4 p.m. we have our Renatus Founders Live. Make sure you do mark this on your calendar, set an alert if you need to. It's really important that you make the weekly Founders Live because we get to hear really important announcements from Bob Snyder, our CEO. Not only that, we get to connect with the entire nation. There's a training of the week, a story of the week, as well as recognition. So we get to see who is out there making big things happen in their businesses. So this is, again, every Monday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time through the Facebook page, Renatus Founders Live. Every Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we have our national study groups hosted by Christion George. Currently, we are making our way through the essentials courses. The Renatus Helios app has a lot of great features and is regularly being updated by Renatus, to make sure that you check out that app. There's a lot of great features. One of my favorites is that you are notified when a commission is paid. You get notified when a guest is checked into an event so that you know that they are present and checked in. You get to see any live streams that might be happening, such as a corporate intensive or perhaps even nationals. So live streaming is available, as well as your education is available through the app. So make sure you get that downloaded and give it 5 stars. We have a lot of daily and weekly support here with Renatus Team Elevate. So very grateful for all of the support that we have. We've got our private capital masterclass, which is every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, facilitated by Dane Clark. Dane Clark does a fantastic job with this because he has had a lot of success with everything that he's learned from the private capital classes. And he has built over $25 million to go towards various transactions of his. And we invite all AIT students to join us for the private capital masterclass as long as you are on the OES, the optional event subscription. Then we have our daily real estate action mastermind, the dream call. That is Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock till about 10 o'clock. And we talk all things real estate investing. And then we have our marketing call that we're on right now. We talk about marketing, we talk about business, we talk about personal development and mindset. So make sure you let your team know about this morning marketing call. It is Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 Mountain Time. I did mention just a moment ago the optional event subscription. You can learn more about it through this website. There is a short 6-minute video there that Michael Huggins put together that talks all about what the optional event subscription is and how that helps out the team. So do check that out. And you can also sign up for the OES through this website. We do ask that you are a part of the OES to attend both the Dream Call and the Private Capital Mastermind. Another perk is that you get your $50 waived every month for the corporate, or not the corporate, for the intensive that we have, the Elevate Intensive. If you're looking to introduce your profits or the profits education to your guests, get them in front of Scott Rowe. Scott Rowe does a profits intro every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Please do make sure you get your guests registered as well as yourself registered in Helios. Simply pull up the calendar in Helios, type in profits in the search bar, and you will see this pop up on Tuesdays. We've got our weekly virtual house tour every Wednesday. This week we toured Ryan and Laura Black's property. It was a really, really, really beautiful property. I loved this tour. The numbers were incredible as well. They purchased it for $293,000. They were all in for about $480,000. They put the listing up for, I believe it was $535,000 or $545,000, and they got an above asking price at $640,000. So they are looking at a net profit of $160,000. Incredible, incredible deal. At these property tours, your guests get to see what is possible, what's being done in today's market. They get to see multiple classes being put to use in one deal, lots of different acquisition strategies, funding strategies, and exit strategies. So this is a really, really great tour, really great opportunity for you to get your guests in front of and to get them introduced to what's possible with Renatus. So that is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can you can attend this through the website here, teamelevateusa.com. Please, of course, make sure you get yourself and your guests registered, as always, in the Helios calendar. And you can find these house tours if you just simply type in Laura in the search bar. You'll see this pop up on Wednesdays, and that's how you can get yourself registered. Every Thursday, we've got lots going on. Last night, we had a really great intro presentation by Bill Predabon. So on Thursdays, we've got our corporate onboarding session. That is at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We have another house tour offered. On Wednesdays, it's in English. So on Thursdays, we do offer the house tour, and it's offered in Spanish. So for any Spanish-speaking guests, get them to this Spanish house tour. Then we've got our Pillars of Wealth intro presentation at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and we've got a couple of study groups offered. We offer a multifamily study group, short-term rental, as well as velocity banking. The multifamily short-term rental are both at 7 p.m. and then the velocity banking, as you can see, is at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Please make sure you do register yourself and your guests in Helios. And then again, you can access these events through teamelevateusa.com. We have a lot of these recordings. There's at least 5-6 years worth of these calls recorded on our YouTube channel. You can also find them on our Facebook page. So our Facebook page is Renatus Team Elevate. Not only you can find these recordings there, you can also see a lot of important announcements, our weekly events. You can ask questions, network with the team, share your wins, introduce your new students. Lots and lots going on our Facebook page. So do make sure you're a part of that. And then our YouTube channel not only has these morning call recordings, we also have the Zoom Up calls. The Zoom Up playlist is found on our YouTube channel, which is a really powerful way to get your guests introduced to Renatus. So make sure that you do take advantage of both of those resources there. Today, we have a special guest with us today. Lily Portas is traveling and asked Christian to fill in for her. And I am so grateful that Christian is here with us today. But before we introduce Christian, we will watch our money mastery exercise, or we'll watch that short video and then complete the call to action exercise at the end. We'll just take a few minutes to do that, and then we'll shift back over to Christian's training.
This man built an e-commerce giant and became one of the richest people in the world.
Today is Fabulous Friday, and we have a special guest with us today. We have Christion Sadler filling in, and I really, really love Christian. Christian and I actually first met about 5 years ago before I got started with Renatus. When I was coming to some events, I was kind of checking out the whole idea, and I remember we were at a bowling alley with the group, and Christian was just so welcoming and had a lot of really great thought-provoking questions for me. And I just remember him making me feel very, very comfortable and just very welcomed into the group. So that's kind of one of my first memories with Christian. And over the years, we've gotten to know each other, and he's just such a delightful person. So if you haven't gotten to know Christian, I encourage you to kind of get out of your comfort zone, reach out to him and say hello. So Christian actually he's got a really great story. He was following a wrong path in life for a long time, and he was actually kicked out of every school after grade school and didn't have much direction. He did learn about real estate investing pretty early in life, and by the age of 24, he was able to turn his life around through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. His business partner had accumulated $1 million net worth. He and his business partner, and that was right as the Great Recession began. However, this devastated their plans and their portfolio. Renatus came at just the right time. Christian needed it, and that was the only thing that kept him going as an entrepreneur. Since joining Renatus, Christian has been able to do a variety of real estate transactions, including residential, land, and commercial projects. Helping people is Christian's passion, and real estate gives him the ability to do that in his daily life, including Christian's recent choice to become a licensed realtor in order to help more people sell their properties fast for the most money possible. So again, I'm very grateful that we have Christian here with us today. Good morning, Christian. How are you?
I am great, Keely. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Keely, for being here, for introducing, and just for always showing up. I'm always inspired by who you are and what you do. And folks, let me go ahead and jump over here. I'm going to start the screen share, and we're going to get into, actually, you're going to need to make me co-host, Keely, if you can. If you guys want to know more about my story, then you can go to the last training I did. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. So if you just go to the YouTube channel, search my name, it's Christion with an I-O-N, you can get more perspective there. But last time I spent the entire training going through my story, and I don't want to spend the time doing that today, because I want to give you guys the opportunity to get right into action. And so the first thing that I would like for you guys to do, if it's possible for you, if it's at all possible, get into a position where you have a pen and a notebook. So you're going to want to have a pen and a notebook. Today will be very interactive. It will be for you specifically. Okay. You're going to do this for you. And so if you're driving or if you're just in a position where you absolutely cannot write things down, you can still participate in these exercises. In fact, I would suggest for any of you, expand on this. We don't have time today to do this exercise justice. However, you guys will have the blueprint of it, and you can come back to it anytime. And so instead of doing 60 seconds or 90 seconds, whatever we decide to do here, you can give yourself much more time. Maybe you give yourself 10 minutes or 30 minutes to do each of these exercises to really dial this in. And, I also suggest coming back to this exercise often and expanding upon your goals. So let's see. I can now share my screen, and we're going to switch over. Oops, where'd that go? Okay, share my screen. I got that. We want to go to PowerPoint. So let's start right here. Slideshow from the beginning. All right, so today we're going to talk about goal setting. Guys, I want you guys to really get a vision for where you're going and to do the necessary things to move yourself there. And I'm going to give you the answer, because some of you are not going to stay on for this whole thing. Some of you, because that's just who you are. You're not finishers. And so you're not going to finish this webinar, and that's just the way it is. And I don't want you to do part of it and then end up in a spot that many of us end up in, which can actually be detrimental, because this exercise, if you go through the entire process, can be very helpful for your life. If you go through part of the process, which many, many people do, then it will actually zap your energy. It'll take your energy away from you. So I actually trained with the Ogmandino group years ago. If you haven't trained with the Ogmandino group, greatest salesman in the world. If you don't know, I should say, if you don't know about the Ogmandino group, go look them up. They're absolutely amazing. Dave Blanchard is actually a good friend of mine. Him and his brother, and his son, Paul, I consider dear friends. His wife, Ramona, as well. I got to spend a lot of time with them years ago, and it's great to learn from such inspiring people. They are the people who run the Ogmandino group, now Habit Finder. So great organization when it comes to mindset and really figuring out who you are and how you're going to get to where you're going. So the quote, and this is not an exact quote, because I just remember Dave saying this to me multiple times from stage and to me personally, which is, it's okay to build castles in the sky, just don't move in too early. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is, we're going to go through a goal setting exercise. It's more of a dream building exercise, but you're going to take those dreams and turn them into a reality. And the thing is, if you just dream and then you don't backtrack that dream to what your yearly, monthly, daily actions are, then you're going to spend time there, especially if you do this in the morning and at night. And if you go to bed at night with this grand vision in your mind, but you haven't backtracked to what you're going to do right now to make it happen, it's actually going to put your body into fight or flight. Okay. Now, the different parts of your brain. I won't try to say the names because they're all weird, right? But the different part of your brain will release chemicals the same way as if you were getting chased by a bear, right? The same way as if a cougar was going to take your leg off, your body will go into fight or flight. If you go into these dreams and you stay there, and then you wake up in your reality, which is not there, okay? So what you've got to do is you've got to go there, and then you've got to go backwards through time, step by step, okay, to what you're going to do today so that you're living in reality and you're creating that future reality, okay? So that's, if you took anything from it, just know, if you're going to set your goals, if you're going to dream big, if you're going to think about all the things that you want and desire, make sure you also backtrack that to what you're going to do right now in order to do so. So hopefully I've given you enough time. You've got a pen, you've got a pad of paper in front of you. You know, probably the great thing, like the ideal situation for this would be that you get a brand new notebook and then you use it to do this exercise and you expand upon it over and over again. And this is your dream building exercise. Okay. Now, if you are driving, if you are in a position where you can't do this, then I want you to just, go through this exercise mentally with us for now. And then you can come back to this training. The recording will be uploaded, and you can pause it at each of these exercises and go step by step through the process. Okay. So it's okay to build castles in the sky. Just don't move in too early. So I've given you time, get a pen and a notebook. In fact, let me give you 60 seconds. In case you guys didn't think I was serious and you're just listening and kind of halfway tuned in right now, get a pen and a notebook. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to do so. In case you're still laying in bed, get up and go get it. Okay, 60 seconds. I'm going to switch over here and let's get it started. It wasn't it yet. It was a different alarm. 60 seconds. 30 seconds, guys. Get it. I love it. I'm ready. I always take notes. I'm ready. Got my shift notebook. Love it. 20 seconds. If you guys are in the other room scrambling for a pen, got 10 seconds left. All right. So part of that, guys, was just to practice me going between these two apps on my phone to where we've got the timer and the music. Okay, so that's what we'll be going through today. So first thing I want to do is I just want to get your creativity flowing. Now, luckily we had an exercise before this that some of you were already kind of typing some things in. You were throwing it into the notes. You know, I don't necessarily need you to put it in the chat box today. I want you to put it into your notebook. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to do an exercise to open your mind. So let's just explore your thoughts. Now, if you're driving, here's what I want you to do. Over the next 60 seconds, once we start, I want you to just let the thoughts come through your mind without judgment. Okay? Just kind of pay attention. Just be the observer, if you will, of all the different thoughts that go through your mind. Now, if you guys are participating, which I hope majority of you are, then I want you to take 1 minute to just write down any thought that passes through your mind. Don't judge it. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it has nothing to do with today's training. I just want you to pay attention to the thoughts. I'm going to give you 90 seconds, and I want you to just write down. And by the way, if your mind's like mine, trying to write it down actually stops the thought process. You don't even need the full thought. Okay, you can squeeze it down into a couple of words, or you can even just what do they call that, when you shrink it down and just put some shorthand writing of what the thought is. Okay, just Whatever thought's coming past your mind, I want you to just put it down on paper. If another thought comes in before you finish that thought, it's okay. Just move on. Keep writing your thoughts. I'm going to give you 90 seconds. A great thing to do if you're going to ever start an exercise like this is do this for at least 10 minutes where you just write. You just dump any thought that comes into your mind. Doesn't matter if it's related to the topic that you're wanting to write about. Right now, we're just letting the thoughts that come through your mind without judgment, and you're putting them down on paper. You're getting that exercise going. So 90 seconds starting now. You've got 1 minute. You're just letting the thoughts go through your mind. You're writing down, you're capturing what you can through the process. Just write. You can make a list. You can just have a big run-on sentence. It doesn't matter. Just explore your thoughts. Just pay attention to what's going on in your mind right now. Got about 20 seconds left. Again, just write. Just whatever thoughts as they come. All right, so we are at that time. I'm gonna restart. Pause that. All right, so now that you've kind of done a dump, we're gonna jump into the actual exercise, okay? And as we start this, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to think about what you currently believe is possible, okay? I want you to allow yourself to dream big. And that's part of the reason that we just let our thoughts start going right now so that we could get the small thoughts out. We could let some of the big thoughts start coming in. I want you guys to think on a big perspective. And here's where we're going to start this process. Okay, I'm going to give you 90 seconds. And turn the page or put a line across it, whatever it is, you're starting a new section. I want you to just think about, where do you want to be 5 years from now? Now, the interesting thing about it is you can do this 10 years if it feels better to you, right? Because some of you, you can't imagine yourself being much further ahead in 5 years, but 10 years for some reason is that. For some of you, it's 2 years, right? You just expect to be, somewhere else in 2 years. I think a lot of people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. 5 years from today, folks, you could look backwards and not even recognize who you are, let alone where you're at in your life right now. So that's what I want you to do, is I want you to write every thought that comes to mind related to what you want. So this is you're only now writing down what you want. So if you let some negative thoughts come into your writing in the past section, let it go, okay? We're only writing about what we want, no matter how big. So I want you to really think about what you want, okay? We're going to start writing. 5 years from now, write down everything that you want. Think about it from the puppy dog that you're going to get, maybe that's the big scale. I don't know. Dog is a big commitment. From the dog that you're going to have, to the place that you're going to live, to the, to the area that you're going to be, the people that you're going to have around you. Right now, you're just everything that you want. 5 years from today, what does your reality look like? Ready, set, go. Big goals, big dreams. Got about 15 seconds left. Remember, this is just a start. Leave yourself a lot of space if you want. So when you come back to this exercise, you have room. All right. Oops. Let's cancel that. Be nice if I had 3 devices here to do all of this, right? Something for the timer, something for the music. All right. So now you've got a start to where you want to be. Now I want you to get a little bit more specific, okay? So what we're going to do is I want you to just think about where you want to live, okay? So again, we're just going to write. We're going to spend 90 seconds real quick, and I want you to think about where you want to live. So that could be the part of the country or the world that you want to live in, the type of home, what kind of amenities. I want you to just dream build a little bit. Think about, I mean, do you live in a house that's a castle, right? That's in the mountains somewhere, or do you live in a penthouse suite, in one of the largest cities of the world? I mean, whatever your dream is. Remember, this is about you and what you want. This is the reality that you're creating, and you're going to take this reality and you're going to commit it to your memory. We'll talk about that later on, so that you can start creating it right now. So where do you want to live, guys? Where do you want to live? One easy way to do this might just to be bullet points, guys. Just bullet points about what it is, because we don't have a lot of time. In an ideal world, you would spend a lot of time with this and you would really write it out and spell it out. Right now, just throw some bullet points. I want to be in New Mexico, and I want to have a castle. Whatever it is. I don't want to put those thoughts into your mind, because you guys have to choose for yourself where you want to be, what you want it to look like. Get about 30 seconds. Add some more bullet points to that. It's all about your environment. What is that environment that you want to be in on a daily basis? Maybe some of you just want to live in an RV and you want to travel around. That's cool. Definitely going to do that in my lifetime. All right, let's wrap that up. We're going to move on to the next section. So depending on how you're doing this, you can just, create a line, flip pages, flip a few pages if you want, because hopefully you guys are coming back to this exercise and doing it in more depth. I'm telling you guys, this exercise can be life-changing for you if you really spend some time with it. In fact, some of you might want to get together as groups and do this spread out over a day's training or something, right? Something where you really have time to dive in deep and do some journaling on this. Some of you might want to just take a weekend and go to the mountains and really, I always say the mountains because that's my thing, right? I like going to the mountains, but maybe you want to go to the desert or the lake or wherever else, wherever you feel great, and dive more into this exercise. All right, so the next thing, what do you want to be doing? So you talked about where you want to be, but what do you want to do? What are those big things on a yearly basis, like the vacations and those types of things that you want to do? What are the monthly things that you want to do? Like, is there a certain thing that you want to be doing with your family, for your family? Just day to day. What do you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis? Like, is it your dream to wake up and have coffee overlooking the lake? I don't know. Whatever your dream is, I want you to just kind of spell that out. 5 years from today, what does your days look like? What are those big vacations? And again, since we don't have a lot of time, it might be really good to just kind of bullet point it, right? Like a new country every year, or whatever it is. Just kind of bullet point it out. You guys can go dive deeper into this later on. If you're driving, just kind of let those things come into your mind, map it out. What do you want to be doing in your life 5 years from today? if you had no limits on what you could imagine or create, which you don't, by the way, you have no limits on what you can imagine and create, then what would you be doing? Go ahead and we'll start another 90 seconds. Plenty of time. You still got about a minute. Go ahead and just write it out. What do you want to be doing? What are those fun things that you want to be doing? Do you want to longboard the streets of China? Do you want to have meditation every morning? What is it you want to do? Yoga? Gym? What do you want to do? Got about 15 seconds. Keep writing. All right, let's wrap that up. Again, you guys can come back to any of these. I just want to get you the basic formula so that you have it in recording, right? We're going to have this on the YouTube, so you guys can come back to this recording at any time. Also, if you don't want to wait for the recording to be put up, you guys have it written down. So take the time today or tomorrow, over the weekend, whatever it is, and explore this a little bit more. Who do you want to help? Right? I know this is big for people. If once you get through the the self-serving things of where I want to be and what I want to be doing, everybody, at least that I know of, kind of gets to the point where they start thinking about others. So I want you to think specifically, like family, friends, animals, that, what do you want to do for those that you love and care about, that like these are the people that you know the names of, right? But I also want you to go on a broad scale, like on a big scale. Who is it that you want to serve? Who do you want to help? Like, is it your goal to take, to give water to the people who don't have clean water? There's millions of people across the world that don't even have clean water. I mean, I just bought a pair of Tom's shoes recently, right? So maybe, oh, that's backwards anyways. Maybe you want to put shoes on other people, like people that don't have shoes, that don't know what it's like to wear shoes. Maybe that's your big goal. I don't know what it is. So I want you to think specifically, like, your mom that's helped you, throughout your entire life, you want to give her a house, or you want to, I don't know what it is. I don't want to put too many thoughts into your mind, because this is for you. Who do you want to help? Spend the next 90 seconds and think about that. Write it down. Bullet points. Who do you want to help? And how? If you have everything that you want already, who is it that you want to do good for? Got about 45 seconds. Keep writing. Keep writing. Get stuff down. Who do you want to help? Who do you want to serve? What kind of impact do you want to make? And who do you want to make it on? About 30 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up that portion. let's not skip, let's move to the next portion. All right. What do you want to leave behind? So this is now where you start diving into legacy. As you guys can see, like those other things, like you're probably thinking like, oh man, I didn't put this down. I didn't put that down. Don't worry about it. You're going to take time to do more of this exercise. We're getting into big picture stuff. So we talked about the environment that you wanted to have. We talked about the things that you want to do, right? Then we just started diving into who do you want to serve? Who do you want to help? Now I want you to think about on a grand scale. If in 5 years from now you've accomplished these big things, you're probably already thinking about your legacy. In fact, right now, you probably already have some things that you're thinking, this is what I'm going to leave behind. So what do you want to leave behind? What is that legacy? I want you to think about this from a big scale of what are you working on that's going to affect the next generation and the generation after that? Write it down. Your legacy starts now. What does it entail? 90 seconds. About 30 seconds left. Just throw some bullet points down. What is your legacy? What do you want to leave behind? It's all about purpose, right? Our life is more fulfilled if we have a purpose, if we're moving towards that purpose. All right, let's start wrapping that up. I want you to move on here and I want you to start writing on this concept right here. What will it take financially to make all of this a reality? So now I want you to go back through those notes. I want you to go back through those bullet points. And I want you to think, what would it take on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, whatever that makes more sense to you? Do the actual math. As I'm talking right now, start going through your bullet points and write down, what would that cost monthly? What would that cost yearly? What would that take from a financial perspective? Maybe when you add up, okay, I'm going to have a $2 million house, so that's going to cost me, $8,000 a month. I want to, help, X amount of people in X country, and that's going to take $10,000 a month. I don't know what that is. Everybody's different, right? But financially, what would it take on a yearly or a monthly basis? Probably best to do it monthly because we're all real estate investors and we think in cash flow, right? Cash flow. So what does your cash flow need to be in order to create this reality? In order for this reality to just be able to continue forward, guess what, folks? It's not about one specific number. It's not about when I achieve $10 million. Because no matter what that big number is, you're going to be spending it. So the best number to think about is your cash flow number. On a monthly basis, do the math. What would it cost you to live this life? Go ahead. I'm going to shrink these down to 1 minute, by the way, not because they're less important, but because we're running out of time and I want to give you guys as much as possible. So let's go ahead. 1 minute. This number might be easier when you come back to this exercise and you've really spelled out what that reality looks like. But for now, you can get close. Is it $10,000 a month? $100,000 a month? $1 million a month? This is for you. In order to just live your dream. 15 seconds. Go ahead. Get that number down. All right, let's wrap that up. Let's jump to the next one. I want you to expand on this entire vision, okay? So you've kind of spelled it out. I just want you to tie everything together and add in some bullet points of those things that you wish you would have thought of when you were first writing this, right? So what ties this all in? I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Just add things to the list that tie all these things together. So where do you want to be and what do you want to be doing? Well, maybe that adds up an additional cost, right? Or an additional item that you want to do. So maybe, you've thought of somebody else that you want to help. Just expand on this vision a little bit, real quick, 60 seconds. Seconds. What else do you want to add to your list? All right, wrap that up and think about this for a minute. Who do you need to be? In order to achieve those things, who do you need to be? What are those qualities or traits? How do you show up? Right? How do you walk? How do you talk? What are those those qualities inside of yourself? Who do you need to be? Who is the man or the woman that you need to be in order to achieve those things? Think about that. Because thinking about having the things is great, but it's not about the things, it's who you become in the process. Who do you need to be? Are you decisive? Are you encouraging? Remember, if you're putting these into the chat, that's awesome, but make sure you're writing them down for yourself in your own notebook so that you have it, so you can expand upon this later. Write it down in your own notebook. You can still put it in chat. I'm all about that. Love the interaction, but make sure you're writing it down for you. It's the most important. This isn't about anybody else. Who do you need to be? All right, we've thought about it on a broad scale, but I want you to break that down mentally. Who do you need to be mentally? What are the things that you need to know and need to learn? And I specifically put those in that order, know and learn, because it's more important about what you're learning than what you know. In fact, and I can't remember the exact quote, but the world will be inherited by those who are able to learn, unlearn, and relearn in the new society, right? As you move forward into the new world, it's not about what you know, because everything is changing so damn fast, right? So what are the things that you need to be learning? What are the things that you want to know? Is it a specific subject? Is it a specific language? Mentally, what are the things you're doing mentally to become that person? What do you want to know? What are the books you're reading? Who are those books by? Are you reading biographies of people that you are inspired by? How many books? How often? Are you going to specific retreats that you learn about a subject you're most interested in? Go ahead and wrap that up. Let's move on to physically. How do you need to be physically in order to have all those things and do all those things that you just wrote down, you just dreamed up, you just created in your mind, which is the first step, by the way. You got to create it in your mind in order to create it in reality. So as you do that, what do you look like physically? What can your body do? Expand on that a little bit. Write it down. Physical fitness, your ideal body. You only have this one vessel. I know that we are just past the top of the hour. If anybody needs to get to jump off, again, I would just ask, come back to this exercise. If you're still here with us, if you're going to keep with us, we're getting there. Don't worry, but spend a little bit more time, and we're going to continue to build this out. So after physically, I want you to write down emotionally. How do you react? How do you show up? Emotionally, who do you need to be? Again, that's what we're focusing on right now, is who do you need to be? Emotionally, who is it? Right now we're focusing on who we need to be. If any of you have joined us late, make sure you grab a pen and a pad of paper. You're probably going to want to come back to this later on. Got about 20 seconds. Who do you need to be emotionally to achieve those things, to live that life that you just dreamed up? All right. Now we're going to talk about relationally. How do you treat other people? Maybe you haven't thought about that very much. Maybe you've thought a lot, about, the way that you show up in your own world. Oftentimes, we think so much about our connection with the world, but we forget about how we are treating those around us, how we're showing up to the other people, the other animals, right? To the rest of the world. So relationally, how do you treat others? In order to be that person that has achieved those things that you just wrote down, who do you need to be? Maybe you wrote down before that you need to be focused, but maybe relationally, you need to be more present, right? So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm focusing on. How do you treat others? Are you compassionate and kind? All right. Now we thought about relationally. What about spiritually? Right? We've thought a lot about the physical perspective of this, but what is your connection with God? And if God isn't the word for you for how you connect spiritually, just put whatever word makes sense for you, whether that's universe or source or higher self, whatever it is that's bigger than you. I think all of us have something we believe in that's bigger than us, even if it's just a higher version of ourselves, right? I'm not trying to tell you what your spiritual beliefs should be or could be. What I'm wanting you to do is think about for what matters to you, for how you connect spiritually with God or source or universe or energy, right? Who do you have to be in order to achieve this life that you just outlaid for yourself? Do you meditate? Do you pray? How often? In order to be that person. Spiritually, what is that connection? All right. I want you to expand on all of this vision now of who you need to be. Okay, so you've taken all of these different aspects. You went from the very big of just putting things down, and then you went into mental, and you went into, physical and spiritual. Expand on it now. Just tie it all together. Who are you? Who do you need to be right now? Because that's the person that you need to be now is going to be what brings you that future reality. So just expand on that vision, another 60 seconds. Who do you need to be? Wrap that up. All right. So here's what we're going to do now. And you're probably going to have to come back for this part, but I want you to commit all of this to memory. So for now, we're going to take 60 seconds, and I want you to go back from the beginning, and I want you to read through all of this, and I want you to turn it into a memory in your mind. Some of you are like, what does that mean? How do I create it into a memory? Well, beautiful thing about our mind is we don't know the difference. Our mind can't tell the difference between whether we're imagining it or experiencing it in real life. Your body physically reacts to the things that you imagine the same way that it physically reacts to the things that are happening in real life. And in order to be connected to that future reality and create it, you have to remember it. You've got to have such a clear picture. And when I say picture, it's not just a picture, because you want to taste it, you want to smell it, you want to hear it. So as you're reading through that, experience it. Feel the chills inside your skin when you achieve those things that you've written down. Experience the breeze blowing through your hair when you're on the beach or wherever else that you want to be, whatever you wrote down. I'm going to give you 90 seconds on this one to just read through everything that, all the bullet points. And as you're reading through it, what you're doing is you're experiencing this as if it's happening right now. You're creating that vision and you're committing it to your memory. This is why I said that we might want to put more, you may want to come back to this later on and expend more time so that you can really dial it out. I mean, I want you to know where your kitchen is in that house and your master bedroom, right? Commit this to memory. I want you to go there for a little while. I want you to just live there, right? So we're going to give, again, about 90 seconds. Go experience this reality that you just wrote down. Yes, I want you to move in, guys. I want you to move into this dream, to this reality. Feel it, taste it, touch it, experience it. When you have this as a memory, you can come back to it anytime. You can come back and build your castle anytime. When I say your castle, that's the dream, that's the vision, right? It doesn't have to actually be a castle like it is in mine. Commit this whole vision to memory. Guys, you can do this exercise every month if you want to. I mean, heck, on a small scale, you could do it every day, but don't spend too much time creating this and not doing what you have to do today. We'll get to that in a minute. For now, just live there. Just feel it. Just experience it. What does it feel like to be that person? All right. Now I want you to go back in time, right? You're there right now. You live there, right? You're experiencing it. You're imagining it. So while you're there in that reality, I want you to start going back in time. I want you to think about what you did to get there. I want you to think about the things that you overcame to get there. So go ahead. Go back in time. Start from that reality and go backwards. Think about where you are today, as in physical time, and then where you're at now in that future reality. And I want you to just backtrack it. I want you to think about the goals that you achieved along the way. I want you to think about the properties that you acquired along the way. I want you to go through there, and I want you to just go back in time. This is how you get there. This is how you got there. Go ahead, take about 90 seconds. Who are the people that you became friends with along the way? Who did you network with? What are the tools that you acquired? Think backwards from this reality to how you came from now to now. Between 2021 and 2026, what did you experience? In order to become that person, in order to have those things, in order to do what you're doing, got about 30 seconds. What did it really take? And I'm just going to keep the music playing because I want you to just continue on this. What will you do? So bring yourself back into reality and move forward, and then take yourself backwards through time. Over 5 years, what did you do to become that person and to achieve those things? I'm just going to keep on writing. What did you do over 5 years on a big, grand scale? I acquired 1,000 rental units with $1,000 a month in cash flow. I don't know. This is yours. Related to the math that you did. What did you have to achieve? When you've thought about those big things, I want you to take that down, and I want you to just think about yearly. What do you need to do every single year in order to have achieved that 5-year vision? We went from the big scale over 5 years. Now I want you to just think yearly. What are those things that you would need to accomplish each year? How many properties would you need to acquire each year? How many people would you need to enroll in Renatus each year to achieve that big vision? Remember, you guys can still be using bullet points. Whatever is best for you to think clearly through this and be able to come back to it. Now, when you've thought about yearly, what about monthly? What do you need to do every single month? What do you need to accomplish each and every month? Because if you're going to acquire 6 properties a year, right, then you need to acquire a property every other month. If you're going to acquire 60 properties a year, right, then you're going to need to acquire 2 properties a month. Is that right? Over 5 years. If you're going to do 60 properties over 5 years, then you would need to do 1 property per month in order to get there. Don't get lost in my bad math. Just think about what you need to do monthly. What do you need to achieve each and every month in order to achieve those things each and every year, in order to achieve that big vision over 5 years? now that you know what you need to do monthly, just continue writing, but I want you to switch over and I want you to think about what would you need to do weekly. As weeks go by like that. But if you know what you need to accomplish each week, you can lay out a plan. And that's what this is all about. We're now moving out of the castle and we're mapping out the road to get there. Don't live in the castle, that's dangerous. If you guys create this whole vision and you go there and you experience it, and then you don't think backwards of what you need to do over that time, each year, each month, each week, then your body will go into that fight or flight. If you backtrack it, you can get to what you need to do daily. That way you can go live there. You can go live there twice a day, 3 times a day if you want. As long as you backtrack and remember what do you need to do each day. And this can be a part of your exercise, either at morning or night, to lay out what you're going to do each day. If you know what you need to do daily, you know what you need to do today. So I want you to think about those daily actions. Put a quick list. What are those things that you need to do daily in order to achieve the weekly goals, in order to achieve the monthly goals, in order to achieve the yearly goals, in order to achieve this big, grand vision that you just put yourself in? All right. What about right now? Every time you do this, bring yourself into the present. Make sure that you end in the present and decide, what are you going to do right now? The cool part about this, guys, is you could actually do this throughout the day, and then you could have it help you make the decision of, is this next action I take bringing me closer or taking me further away from this big vision, from this place that I just created in my mind, which I'm remembering 5 years from today, and I'm going to create in my reality. What will you do right now? All right, guys, that's the training for today. I would suggest again that you guys come back to this and do this with a little bit more time. Maybe you want to do this once a year, maybe once a month, right? Again, like we just talked about, you could do this throughout your day. Now that you've already done the hard work, it's not that hard, right? You've done the work of creating this. You can go back there at any time. You can make additions to your house. You can lay out the landscaping, right? Just don't get stuck there. Every time you go to that place, go back in time, right? Go there and remember that place, but then go back in time. Bring yourself into the now and decide, is what I'm doing right now bringing me closer or further away? And if it's further away, choose to do something different. Thanks, everybody.